dealing with some criticism. And when you are offering constructive criticism, you want to think about how to do that. So consider the content. When you're giving criticism to people, don't lay it on too thick and don't criticize multiple things at one time. So one topic, one thing that you'd like them to improve upon, make sure that you're accurate, that you don't actually have it wrong, because that's embarrassing. Clearly define for them what it is specifically that they need to work on, and make sure that they understand the benefit of working on that. Because I think any of us can relate to the idea of, why would I try to improve on something if it doesn't benefit me or anybody else? Just because you want me to do it doesn't mean I have to do it. You also want to consider the sender and the relational climate. Do you have a relationship with this person where you think they might take your constructive criticism well? As a public speaker, instructor, speech instructor, someone who speaks publicly frequently, a lot of people will solicit my advice on public speaking, but a lot of people are very nervous around me when they find out that I'm a speech instructor. I mean, I've been at parties before where, just like before the big event or whatever, we're kind of schmoozing, and someone will say like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm like, "Oh, I'm a speech professor. You can teach public speaking classes and that sort of thing." They're like, "Oh no, I'm giving a toast later. Like, are you going to grade me?" I'm like, "No." So I would, if I don't know that person very well, if I've just met them, I am not going to give them constructive criticism, because we don't have that relationship, and I don't want them to feel nervous or like, just because I can provide feedback doesn't mean that I need to if I don't know them. You want to make sure that you have a really positive relationship with someone. Do you have any partial responsibility in making sure that their job is well done? If so, that's probably an accurate time to give feedback to someone. So, if you're working with a partner and they are stumbling and not doing so well at their job, you might say, "Hey, I really want you to feel more confident and be able to do this job better, because we work together. And if your job's easier, my job's easier. Let me help you." So I'll offer to help them in that case. Also consider your delivery. Don't call people out publicly. Try to avoid looking and sounding really judgmental, condescending, passive aggressive. If at all possible, kind of think about the situation. What's the best time that you can find someone to sit down with, work with them, and say, "Hey, I have a couple of tips and some advice for you. Would you like to hear some feedback on how you can improve on X, Y, and Z?" I always like to ask people, if I'm not their direct supervisor, I like to ask people if they'd like to hear my feedback. If I am someone's direct supervisor, then it's my job. I have an obligation to give them feedback on things they need to improve upon. So I do still try to, bring them into my office. "Hey, I wanted to talk to you about this, and here's why. And here are the things that I've noticed." And I always say that I noticed this, because again, I could be wrong. I could not be seeing the whole picture. So using that non-defensive language, like the I language, not "you screwed up on this," but "I noticed this and I wanted to get a little bit more information from you about what happened there," or "Can I give you then," I guess if it's my employee, I don't necessarily say, "Can I give you advice?" I'm like, "I would like to give you some advice." So I couch it a little bit differently. But again, you want to think about your delivery. Do you sound verbally sincere? Do you look verbally sincere? Those kinds of things. So you may, if you're not used to doing that, you may need to practice out loud in advance in front of a mirror. So when you're offering this constructive criticism, focus on the behavior, not the person. Nobody likes to feel like they personally are being criticized. But if you say, "When I saw you doing this, I noticed blah, blah, blah." Build a bridge with people. Don't burn one. Again, don't make that effort to help them improve, because if they're your coworker, if they're your employee, if something that in their job is making your job more difficult, you have a responsibility and you have an incentive, I guess, to help them out, because them doing better is going to mean your life is easier. So think about it that way. Build that bridge. How can I help? How can we make this better? I want your career to be better and on track, and I want mine to be easier. So discuss the behavior, the impact, and the action. So keep that in mind. When you didn't submit your project on time, that was the behavior. I'm not talking about, you're a lazy person. When you didn't submit your project on time, we had to postpone our team meeting. So that was the impact. That's what happened. Next time, let me know if you'll be late so we can plan accordingly. Or if you need help getting ready, reach out and I'll see if I can offer help. So that's even something that you can do in this class when working with your group. someone's late turning things in. That's an uncomfortable situation to deal with them. And a lot of times students just won't address it with each other. They're just sort of secretly resentful of a group member that doesn't meet deadlines. But, practice that as saying, hey, I noticed that you submitted your portion late. And as a result, we weren't able to get together and do our rehearsal or put our final product together. We would really appreciate more communication from you. And we want to make sure that you get a good grade. And I hope that you want us to get a good grade as a team. So if we can work a little more efficiently together, I think we'd all appreciate that. Write it, text it, whatever. But think about the wording that you want to have there so that that person does know that they've messed up, that you were not happy with them, but that you're not criticizing them as a human being. You're not angry at them as a person. You're like, this thing that you did, it upset me, and here's why.